Hey, 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 everyone. I'm Becca, he's Matt, and this is Book Love Podcast. And welcome to our spoiler free series overview and review of The Nightingale Mysteries by Katharine Schellman.
That is right. 4 books, 4 mysteries, 1920s New York, speakeasies, the mob, LGBTQ friendly, diverse cast, romance, found family, and 0 spoilers in this particular episode. So we're just going to dive right on in with some series overall ratings, and then we'll start getting down into a few more details as we go. As the name of this series implies, it's a set of mystery novels, 4 of them. How would you characterize this set of mysteries, Becca?
You know how sometimes you just don't have enough words to describe it? So I was introduced to the concept of a cozy mystery. And when we were there, I actually talked to Catherine. I was like, I read cozy mysteries this past year and didn't know that they were called cozy mysteries. I wouldn't necessarily call these books cozy mysteries, but they definitely aren't super intense. They didn't rev up my anxiety. You know, we weren't on the edge of our seat necessarily thinking that our main character was going to die. So for that reason, it feels slightly cozy adjacent, but there's no crumpets. This isn't, your friendly neighborhood pet is helping an old lady solve a mystery kind of cozy. You?
I'd agree. I think I would tell people that Katharine Schellman she kind of plays jump rope with the line of cozy mysteries. Um, I think the majority of the story is cozy, but then when there's action, she kind of jumps out of cozy a little bit, but not so much that you have to watch the movie like this, or not so much that you need to put the book down and go for a walk. But it definitely gets your heart racing. And I think that jump roping of that line is a pretty masterful in storytelling world. So yeah, I completely agree. I think it's a series that's perfect for people that like cozies, but maybe want to push the boundaries. And I think it's also perfect for people that have never read a cozy and want to maybe see what the cozy world is sort of kind of about without going full 180 change.
Mm-hmm.
We read all 4 books together. And what would you rate the entire series as a whole?
Haven't read a lot of mysteries. So what makes this hard is I'm comparing this to genres that I read a lot of, right? But I feel really confident that this is like a 4-star series for me. Like, if someone's like, I like mysteries, I'd be like, I don't know that I do, but I love this series and I'm gonna need you to read it.
Would 100% agree. And to what you said, I don't think it's a problem to compare books to books. I don't necessarily think you have to compare inside of a genre. I think books touch our soul. And I think that's really all that matters. Like, that's how our ratings work anyway. Because you're not a person that's going to be like, the literary analysis of tropes in this mystery series is 4.5, but the you're
Be
not
down
that
for
kind
it.
of person. So but more than that, 100%. I on the other hand love mysteries, and when you and I are reading fantasy books together, I go and I hit up mysteries as my side questing gig.
Yep.
um I've read all of the Dan Brown things. I've read most of the Kathy Reichs stuff. I've read uh uh what do you call it? The entirety of Sherlock Holmes, which that took a while. But so when I say that I completely agree with you that this is a 4, maybe even 4.25 series, it's good. It's not the best thing I've ever read, but it gives me everything that I want. Yes. Um, so that's the series in general. Thank you. If you clicked on this episode, means a lot to Becca and I. Maybe me more than Becca. Uh, if you um, if you want to take the Nightingale experience to the next level, please make sure to check out our book by book buddy read and breakdown if you haven't already. We read the books one half ish at a time, and then we kind of recap them and deep dive discussing them. So I'll link that video here or down in the description down below, and we would really appreciate if you did that. We've rated the series and kind of classified it, but like, what's it about? What can people expect, Becca?
The Nightingale Mysteries by Katharine Schellman is a 4-book historical mystery set in the vibrant, gritty underworld of 1920s Prohibition-era New York. The story follows Vivian Kelly, a poor Irish immigrant and seamstress who finds freedom and a found family at the Nightingale, a secret back alley speakeasy where jazz, illegal booze, and people from all walks of life collide. Across all 4 books, Vivian is repeatedly drawn into dangerous murder investigations and force her to navigate the sharp divides between the city's wealthy elite and its marginalized working class. The books explore themes of identity, social justice, and non-traditional romance, particularly through Vivian's complicated feelings for the club's mysterious owner, Honor Uxley. As the series progresses, the stakes escalate from a small local crime to citywide mayhem to interstate threats that threaten the very existence of the Nightingale and its patrons. Along the way, you meet a whole host of characters ranging from Vivian's older sister Florence to her best friend Beatrice, socialites and elitists such as Hattie Wilson and the other employees of the Nightingale, and a man with a mysterious past who Vivian might also have complicated feelings for, Leo Green. The series comprises of The Last Call at the Nightingale, The Last Drop of Hemlock, The Last Note of Warning, and a series conclusion of Last Dance Before Dawn, which brings Vivian's evolution from an accidental amateur sleuth into a resilient survivor to a definitive close.
Now that we've read all 4 of those books in that wonderful world, what in particular has stayed with you, Becca?
Particularities of the book, I think that I need to explore more genres because I did enjoy this mystery series, and I think mystery's always been like a little off-putting for me because it's usually anxiety driving for me, and I didn't necessarily get a lot of anxiety reading these books. Um, so that also made me realize that, like, yes, there's genres, but within genres, the styles can vary so much. Um, and I think that has stuck with me the most from the series. I also just, the writing was divine in articulating the social etiquette of the time and what that means to the characters, how it plays out, different things you learn. And so I think I really enjoyed the historical writing aspect of this as well.
Yes, the historical writing part of this was amazing because I feel like a lot of the historical facts, if you will, is like background texture. It's almost like the author throws it as a random thing inside a sentence rather than writing, an entire paragraph about a thing,
Mhm.
which I can only imagine how much research went, like what, like 6 hours of research, all so you can write a single sentence kind of a approach to writing the book. Um, and because of that, I really, really appreciated the LGBTQ plus inclusion as well as the racial component because I feel like when I read a lot of books these days, that stuff is there and it like for this is I am I'm a woke stupid idiot. You know what I mean? But even I can feel like I'm being beaten over the head with some of it sometimes. Like the author has an agenda with putting that in the book. And these books, it was all based in the time period and the era, and it felt relatively realistic for my amount of understanding. And I thought that really stuck with me, and I really liked that. The racism, the everybody was in the closet but not in the closet kind of a thing. And
Classism.
yes, um, I think the theme of loyalty. If anybody wants more on that, you can listen to our final episode of the Buddy Read. But the idea of loyalty throughout this series of books as not only a social theme but also an impetus for amateur sleuthing, I thought was really cool and really stuck with me.
I really appreciate that we'd read this together because I also think I'm not sure I would have finished it otherwise in merely just the ADD brain of like, oh, what's next? What's next? And the books are written so well that you can put them down and go back and read it another year later without having lost much. But
Yeah,
having read them all together, it gives you um, a greater sense of the story.
yeah, yes. The continuity throughout the books, the transitions, the connective tissue is all really really well done. Uh, and I'm not exactly sure I would have appreciated that if we hadn't been talking about it along the way,
Mhm.
which might be a compliment to the author. Like you did it so well that it's almost something that people don't think about. Would you recommend that people read this series? Uh, but more than just saying I recommend it, like what would you tell your friends? Who is this series for? Like what was the conversation you'd have with your friends about it?
I think the series for a lot of people. When I think of books and reading, I also think of seasons.
Oh,
And I can see this being both a beach read and a winter cozy read, which I don't usually think of books flipping either way. But this one, I could see you taking it to the beach and consuming it quickly, or letting the long nights of winter keep you company while you read this book.
100% agree with that. And I hadn't thought about it until you just said it.
Because it has the romance that you want in a beach read, but it also has the intrigue that keeps you going through winter.
Mhm. And I think because of the Nightingale setting, um, you just sort of want to drink a drink while you're reading, and beach read and winter by with whiskey by the fire, both great options.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, I would recommend it for people. Um, I think what I would tell people is that, uh, like we were talking about the author jumping rope with the idea of cozy, I would also tell them that this book is like it's a really easy read and it's like a palate cleanser if that's what you want it to be. Like if you don't have the mental right, but if you're like paying attention and you're in it, this is some pretty heavy and serious shit. But it's all about where you are. And so just I would tell people to be mindful of that for choosing when they want to read this,
Yes,
what they want to get out of it, because it's layered. It's sort of like a cozy onion.
yes. It's gonna be turned into an excellent French onion soup.
Yes. I think it's a great entry into mystery novels. So like if you haven't read mysteries, give this one a shot. But I think it's also really well written if you're a huge fan of mysteries. So just let's have this. Let's rank the books so we can give people sort of like what kind of reading journey are they about to go on, kind of a thing.
So you do or
So
you don't wanna rank the books? Did you just change your mind?
no, let's do it 100%.
Um,
Let's
my fav
I don't know. I was going to say, how do you want to do this? Do you want to go one book at a time and say where we would place it, or do you want to rank them and then I rank them? What jives with your brain?
you rank and then I rank.
Oh, okay. 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 So we have 4 books. I think that I am going to, and I'm the one that proposed this, and I've had like 3 days to think about it, and I'm still torn. I'm going to throw that out there. I'm still torn. I think my number one and my number two spot might be interchangeable. But what I think I'm going to say in the moment is that the first book, Last Call at the Nightingale, is my number one. I think it's my number one because I don't think you can beat the magic of being dropped into a new world with new characters. Um, I think my number two is the final book, Last Dance Before Dawn. I think it might be the best story of the 4. It just because you've already experienced the magic of number one, like that. My number In my number 3 spot, I'm going to put The Last Drop of Hemlock, and I'll explain that by explaining my 4 spot, which is The Last Note of Warning. I put that in my number 4 simply because I feel as though in that particular book, Vivian has the least amount of agency. She is in control of the least amount of stuff, and on some level, if you take away Vivian's story, everything sort of still works out
Mhm.
more or less. There's shades of gray. I'm being, um, but because of that lack of agency, the last drop of hemlock, she has a little bit more, so I elevated that book a little bit. What about you? Would you agree or would you be differing?
I was gonna say I mostly agree. I think I would push Last Dance Before Dawn to the top just because I like the culmination of a story, and Vivian is her most confident and put together in this book, and I just like the way that Vivian shines through. But I'm with you, the last call at the Nightingale, there's something magical about being dropped into a new world, and the way that it's written just gives you all of the warm feels. I thought I enjoyed the last drop of the hemlock for all of the red herrings that we got, and I
Yes,
felt
that's
like
the point.
I could play the game, right? I could play the, like, "Where is this mystery going?" game. I could have predictions, and that part of it was really fun and entertaining, so that's why it's not 4 for me. The last note of warning, I'm with you. I struggled with Vivian not having a lot of control of her story, which to a degree is how a lot of life works. So I also think that it's very valid the author wrote it that way, but it was just a little more anxiety driving for me.
Hmm. I would agree with all of those, and I think that's why I struggled with the number one and number two spots. Um, I think if I was to tell people about these books, like Last Call of the Nightingale is a magical transport back to Prohibition, New York. The like murder investigation is there and it's great, but like it's sort of you get the themes of the people and you're more interested like what's going on with this world and who are these people. Last Drop of Hemlock, I think when you were talking about your rationales, something came to mind to sort of summarize it. I think it is the most clue
Yeah.
esque book where you can say so and so did it in this room with the candlestick kind of you get to play that game. That was a perfect way to describe that one, Becca. Um, Last Note of Warning. I do think that the Last Note of Warning had some of the best scenes in the series, like the masquerade ball.
Yes.
amazing, amazing story. I'm with you that the lack of the amateur sleuth's control or autonomy within the story was not my favorite. And The Last Dance Before Dawn is, I think, the quintessential, the highest stakes and the highest payoff. And it has something that none of the other three have. It has the feels.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. I didn't even think about summarizing those books in that way until you started talking about why you liked them. I was like, ooh, summarization. She is the summarization queen. Um,
Those vibes, man. Don't ask me the details, but I got your vibes.
at some point during our buddy read, I put out a reel on Instagram where you and I were talking about how these books need to be made movies.
Yes.
And I actually got Katharine Schellman commented, and she was like, "Hey, if you guys know any movie producers, hook me up." And, and
Oh,
I
Catherine.
was like,
I
"I'll
think
keep
you're
my
more well
ears
connected
peeled."
than we are.
Yeah. um. Yeah,
But honestly, they should be.
they should be. They're and quite frankly, I think they would do really, really well just with even just subject matter. With the racism, the social structure, the LGBTQ stuff.
There'd be
Uh,
something for everyone in that movie, right?
uh
The costuming would be so much fun. Like, ugh, yes.
yeah, would love it. It'd be so much. And then the music. Can you think of the score of the soundtrack of the movie? You get all of that amazing 20s jazz, but with modern production. Hell yeah.
Mhm.
Hell yeah. But anyways, I figure if we go much further into characters or scenes or anything like that, we're jumping into spoilers and we're just re-talking about the stuff the buddy read episodes that we did. But we'll say, do you have any final thoughts about the series, individual books, individual characters, anything on the tip of your tongue?
I think this is a must read.
I was thinking about a lot of the fantasy books that you and I have read over the last year and a half. And with the romanticy fantasy world, it's usually a female lead, and there's usually some type of, I'll call it mystery, even if it might be more politically inclined or end of the world inclined.
Mhm.
There's still a puzzle they're trying to figure out. And on some level, Vivian and her sister Florence, I think, are the most badass female lead characters that I've read with you. And I think it's because they don't have powers. They're not special.
Mhm.
They've just got moxie like you can't believe. And that's pretty damn cool. Well, that is our kind of overview of the Nightingale Mysteries by Katharine Schellman. And I think we should go ahead and throw a bookmark in it for now.
Sounds great. Don't forget to leave us a comment or send us an email. Our contact information is in the description below.
Yeah. We will be back soon with another buddy read. Whenever that happens, we'll have book recommendations and reviews and all of the stuff. So uh thank you for listening. And until next time,
See you later.
bye, fam.